because I've done more for the military than almost anybody else.
So, as a veteran, can I ask you a question for once?
Sure.
I mean, I did some, what you call public service. I've worked for some state and county, whatever organizations. I did actually do stuff for the State Department where I traveled abroad. Nothing close, nothing comparable to your military service. When you see these guys reject their oath to the Constitution, when you see them, veterans especially, showing up on January 6th, supporting Trump, coming out and voting for Trump in some of these numbers, because a lot of them, sadly, Republicans, a lot of veterans have left the party, but there are still plenty there. Like, how do you feel? How do they do that? How do they square that with any oath they ever took to this country? I don't understand.
I think it's a change in the military. I mean, it really is. I'm so disappointed in some of these people. And I think it goes back to the Swift voting. When that happened, when you actually took veterans and used them particularly with point and purpose to attack another veteran, a decorated war hero in John Kerry, it started tearing down that thing. And it became one of those things was, we love veterans as long as you extol the Republican point of view.
He's not a war hero. He's a war hero. He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured.
Couldn't remember my husband's name. The only way he remembered my husband's name because he told me he had my husband report in front of him. And that's when he actually said, La David.
You know, something very nice just happened to me. A man came up to me and he handed me his Purple Heart. And I said, man, that's like big stuff. I always wanted to get the Purple Heart. This was much easier.
Right. Down in Texas, they just had that member of the Texas Guard who falls under Department of Defense rules show up for the campaign rally for Trump. That's a huge no-no.
No, that's illegal. Yeah, nothing will happen. If Merrick Garland, in front of him, he'll prosecute in 2058 probably. But that's the thing. Like, I mean, it's the point you're making though is those guardrails, those little things. Like I think about the Hatch Act and how many times Kellyanne Conway and people like them, when they were actually there working for the president, got on TV and made political statements. When you start breaking those things down, those are important rules, separating military from politics, separating government workers from politics. These are the things that stop you from becoming the Soviet state, where everything is the party. Mm-hmm. And these are the things Republicans have worked to break down. And I appreciate you bringing that up because we a lot of this stuff has been done by Donald Trump. A lot of it has been done by Mitch McConnell and more recent figures. But we can't forget what George W. Bush's team did in 2004. That was them. They broke that wall down.
Yeah, they did. And I remember distinctly with Bush that there is the military is fantastic. You tell them to jump, they say how high. That's what they do. The one thing you do not do is send them into combat under false pretenses. And that's exactly what you did. You ended up with thousands of dead American soldiers, tens of thousands of permanently wounded American soldiers. And you did this not because there was a justification. Iraq did not attack us on 9/11. You did this because you wanted to take the Iraqi oil and try to kill OPEC. And you did it under false pretenses.
In contrast, Russian elections are rigged. Political opponents are imprisoned or otherwise eliminated from participating in the electoral process. The result is an absence of checks and balances in Russia and the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine. Iraq, too. Anyway, 75.
And as a veteran, I was so upset about that. But remember, that was in 2004, that whole thing. It was, Veterans for W. That was their whole thing. They knew what they had done to the military, and yet then still had the audacity to go on out there and act as if they were on the side.
The guy who not only was like Bone Spur McGee here, Trump, but that's one of the ways Bush may have actually been worse than Trump. He didn't even show up for his National Guard. Like, as we know, like he made it into the National Guard and then didn't even bother to show up for some of it. I mean, just
Photo day. He was there for photo day. That was nice. So,
photo day is important. He was there for photo day in his cheerleading outfit at Yale or Harvard or whatever too. That was a very sexy picture.